rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
Ugh.
Come on.
Okay, Cheshire Cat.
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Wow, what a scene.
I don't need your business.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job. After one hell of a PR tour, Disney's live-action Snow White is finally, I know, you were wondering, it's going to be hitting movie theaters next week. Yay. And that brings us to, you know what, today there's so much to get into culturally. It's time for an entertainment minute. So, let's start with now, and then I'll give you the then as to why this has been such a disaster for Disney. So, the Snow White star Rachel Zegler, you all know how I feel. She told Vogue Mexico, which I'm kind of surprised that there's Vogue Mexico.
I didn't know that either.
Are all top 10 fashion tips ponchos? It's semi-formal.
A little bit.
So, she told Vogue Mexico. I just can't take it seriously. Vogue Mexico.
Oh my God.
I get it. I know there are some people in Mexico who have helicopters.
El Bogo.
So Vogue Mexico. She said the controversy over this film was due to passion. In case you ever wondered if there are liberal women who refuse to ever take accountability, she said, I interpret people's feelings about this film as passion for it, and what an honor to be able to be part of something that people are so passionate about. We're not always going to have the same feelings as everyone around us, meaning the entire viewing public.
Yes.
And all we can do is put our best foot forward. By that, you mean entitled and browbeating and proselytizing. It's just, I don't think that Hollywood can ever get it right. But here is Zegler putting both of her best feet forward, like a feminist comment. Was this Academy Awards? Anyway, feminist Conor McGregor.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It's a weird walk for a weird broad, and I don't like her.
It is, and it's really mean to put her next to Gal Gadot, who's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So
it's not fair. We argued about that, but here's the thing. For those of you who have forgotten, right now, it's just, yes, this is, so people are upset and people are not looking to watch this film, Snow White, because they're passionate and she's thrilled to be a part of something and she's just doing her best. Well, okay, you could believe that, or you could look at the fact that she has been sabotaging this film for years at this point, all in this sort of pursuit of entitlement.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about
she's gonna die.
true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
Ugh.
Come on.
Okay, Cheshire Cat.
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Wow, what a
I
scene.
don't need your business. Thanks.
The original
Disney
cartoon
does.
came out in 1937,
What a
and very
timeline.
evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So
Oh,
we
what a
didn't do
scene.
that this time.
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely, when it got announced, it was a huge
You mean your guess is as
thing
good as mine,
that was,
ethnicity?
trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry. And so it was like...
You mispronounced
very much
passionate.
this- yes. It was this
People that
awakening
we need
of...
to educate, the people that we need to love into awareness.
Love them in the right direction.
Yeah, because there's nothing more effective than 19-year-olds educating the rest of the voting public while yelling, okay, boomer. This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job. This is the issue. These people, and this is the difference between a business owner or someone who does very well for themselves in the private sector to become wealthy. This person was born looking a certain way and has a God-given ability to lie for a living. That's really what acting is, to pretend. They didn't earn it the same way, and so it comes with this entitlement. That's the problem. So now she's saying, I just think it's because people are passionate. Also, another slew of problems. The movie went over budget, right? Went over about $250 million to make the film before marketing. They had the whole dwarf midget issue where they decided they weren't going to have any midget actors, right? They were having DEI-inspired magical creatures to replace the dwarves. And you had that Peter Dinklage complained about it, right? He whined on a podcast, and he's like the most famous, successful dwarf ever.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be if he was not a dwarf, saying, it makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story about 7 dwarfs living in a cave together. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. Well, it's hard. We can't hear you. You're down there low. The sound doesn't travel.
You're an angry elf.
He needs 2 soapboxes.
Yeah. And then Disney said, like, okay, look, we'll split the difference. Some of you want us to hire actual dwarf humans, and then we thought we would have CGI magical creatures. How about this? We'll still offend the dwarves, but we'll CGI dwarves. So we'll guarantee no employment for little people while getting rid of this other component that warranted CGI. It was the worst decision they could possibly make. They tried to do a bunch of different versions, including one where Snow White was a lesbian, one where she didn't need a man and she goes off like a Harold and Maude type thing. Even one, a new version called Snow White Ate the 7 Dwarves, because they wanted to capture that.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Zegler herself, that was all just a way to get to Photoshop. She complained about the original plot. She was siding with the Free Palestine protesters. Dear God, I've never wanted someone to simply be here on a green card more. She trashed Trump voters nonstop.
We actually have one of her posts really quickly. About
do we have this?
Yeah.
All right.
It's here. Just do this.
She hopes Trump supporters find no peace, I think was one of the highlights of this. Yeah. It's kind of a long post, boys.
Yeah. They won't if they go to the multiplex this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Another 4 years of hatred. How do I deal with this?
Yeah. But those people are the people who elect presidents and people who go and pay for the ticket sales. Look, you can have a different opinion. This is about telling you that you are a worse human being for disagreeing. They can't hate you and want your money at the same time. It is an exploitative, abusive relationship. America's relationship with Hollywood has been an abusive relationship.
For a long time.
That's what it is.
People think it just started when Trump... This has been going on forever. Last 60 years. And isn't this appropriation when you take something like Snow White?
Yeah.
Let's redo the Cosby Show with a bunch of albino fucks. I mean, seriously, I'm sick of... They take Elton John songs and they butcher them.
Yeah.
Mama, I hope she finds a lump in her armpit.
Let's YouTube dump. Keep it on Rumble. Now,
yes, please.
This is also the issue too. Is it doesn't work. Here's the thing: it doesn't work. Like Nick just said, it's been going on for a long time. Now, in the era of social media, these people expose themselves, and you're seeing that they don't have the influence they thought they did. There's a very big difference between having a follower or a 2-second scan view on X or Facebook and actually having people who care about your perspective, who value your input and are willing to follow. These people do not have that. They don't. The house of cards is tumbling down. And now the premieres are being scaled back. For Disney. They completely scrapped the UK premiere in Los Angeles. There's going to be no media on the red carpet. They're afraid that they're going to be asking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Isn't it funny that at the same time, legacy media complains with investigative journalists and online journalists being allowed into the press pool, they're now shutting out all media. Yeah. You're seeing this from the left. It's all about trying to control the message because they know that it's been rejected. Disney right now, they're relying on influencers, very, very limited talk show appearances to promote the film. Oh, man. One source told The Hollywood Reporter they've been going through the motions on Snow White, all but saying, we need to get this thing over with.
And for all because of the actress you chose.
Yeah.
Disney.
And you know what? You voting with your dollar helps. I can tell you, voting with your dollar, for example, Mug Club, and you can click that button if you want to join Rumble Premium, $99 a year, $9.99 a month. You can try it. If you don't like it, don't stay. Okay, but we're supported by viewers like you. It helps in that regard. But long-term, boycotting, not a temporary boycott of a day. It makes a difference. It changes the cultural landscape where these giant corporations, they don't have the flexibility that people online do. They have to adapt to what they view as American mainstream. They need to know that you are American mainstream. Disney's starting to realize it. It just comes down to whether they want to be a profitable company or propagandists. And I don't know the answer yet. I do know they have $45 billion in debt.
Oof.
They are struggling. Their theme park attendance is down. Their subscribership is down 700,000 since October 2024. Oof. They only have, they don't have anywhere near, I know their cash is down on hand by $8.6 billion, considering their debt of $45 billion. This film would need to make over $400 million to break even. It won't. I guarantee you it will not.
They're going to try.
It's the latest in a laundry list of problems for Disney. And we're going to get to, this also segues into the Michelle Obama podcast, the Anthony Mackie podcast, Gavin Newsom. The landscape has shifted so much. You know, you see on election night, this was the most watched place on earth. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You could have chosen anywhere. When you put Disney, or when you put Michelle Obama, or when you put Captain America Light, or Captain America Dark, when you put them on the same playing field as everyone else online, they lose. They lose. And that's why you have big tech places like YouTube, Google, once upon a time, of course, Facebook, of course, TikTok, or Apple, Spotify, not X so much anymore. That's why you see them putting their thumb on the scales of the algorithm, because they know that these people are not interesting and you don't want to hear from them. And so they try and game the system. Disney is trying to game the system. They've had these problems for a very long time. They've been woke. They've been thrusting this in front of you, shoveling it down your throat. And like Nick said, it's nothing new. You remember The Jungle Book when you look back? It was awful messaging. It was basically grooming, and we didn't even realize. Well, here's a clip of the original cartoon Jungle Book.
So just try and relax. Yeah, cool it. Fall apart in my backyard. Because let me tell you something, little wretches. If you act like that bee acts, you're working too hard.
Don't work.
What?
Don't go back to your family. Don't wear pants. And we talked about this. For those of you who are Rumble Premium members, you've already seen this, but we talked about this. And I think that we need to show the entire world.
Yeah.
It's actually worse than that. I know you've seen the more recent live-action Jungle Book, but they had done screen tests that were more faithful to the original. The original live-action Jungle Book was far worse.
Boy, I'm sure glad we're spending so much time together.
Oh, of course, kid. Stick with me and I'll never steer you wrong.
Sure gets lonely out here.
Not a parent around for miles.
What?
Tiger! Not a tiger around for miles.
But how do I become a man?
Oh, kid, it's easy. It's just...
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities. Just rest your little head on me. Pretty soon you will feel very nice.
Wait, what?
Problem?
I don't know. Something doesn't seem quite right.
Oh, no, that's just societal conditioning. You have to forget all that and let me show you the bare way.
Look for the bare necessities. Listen to my recipe. Forget about your home and prior life. I mean the bare necessities. Let me use my extremities. Pretend just for a moment you're my wife.
Wait, what?
Problem?
Wife?
Oh, that's just playing pretend, Mowgli. It's fun. It's the bear way.
Wherever we wander, wherever we roam, it'll be much farther, far away from home. My body's bees buzzing hot for thee. I'll teach you about the birds and bees. When we're under the stars, romance and take a glance. We'll dance no pants and maybe try this wig on.
Nope.
I see I've crossed a line.
We should have seen it. We should have seen it all along.
Yes. Those perverts.
Yeah.
How dare they make that?
You have days where you feel really bad about yourself?
A little bit.
So let me ask you this.
Is this one of them?
Do you think?
No, Nick. Why
What do you think of Disney's live action adaptations? You fond of Aladdin, with Will Smith as a rapping genie? That one was fun.
Appropriation.
How did that one perform?
Yeah, I don't think it did very well.
The
Beauty and the Beast. This is a true story. I'll give you some inside baseball. Bill Maher, he has a screener, to do his show, and I don't think you've ever done his show. Big surprise. Bill Maher likes to have people who are really easy to tee off on. So his booker for the show reached out and was putting me through the process. Now, granted, I'm no Bill Crystal, or David French, so I would have no reason to be on the show. I'm not at that level. But they asked me hey, what would you like to talk about? And this was when the hashtag Oscars So White was going on. I said, well, I just find it. I don't know. Right now, the number one trend is Oscars So White, and I just saw Beauty and the Beast, where Mary J. Blige in 1740s slavery France gets to turn into a bookcase while she's a queen. She said, so you want to talk about Disney? What about Russia? I was like, well, what about Russia? Is there something that you know that I don't? And of course, I was never on the show. That's one thing. It doesn't work. You talk about the appropriate. I get it. Matt Damon as Genghis Khan, that's a problem. But we're going to act like people in that era would be anything other than slaves. Disney, come on, pick a lane.
They're kind of running some of these big names too. I mean, it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, like one of the most ubiquitous stories out there, and you're going to take it and ruin it?
That's intentional.
Yeah, I don't think they're ruining it on purpose. I think they think. No, I don't think they're ruining it on purpose.
Well, you're a priest.
You're wrong.
Hold on, no, I think
you're wrong.
So they're trying to lose money.
No,
They're
trying to go out of business, guys.
They will take. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, I've made this point before on this show. When you put that much money into something and not expect it to make money, that is propaganda. Mm-hmm. Like ESPN, they destroyed that brand.
Yep.
Completely, unless you want to watch a housewife and a Chinese
Disney's
lady.
Disney's not in the propaganda business.
Can I finish my thing there, Father?
I'm not being very Christian with your interrupting.
That was a comma? You got to tell me these things.
In back of him,
oh my
Satan,
God,
go.
you sound like me when I'm fighting with my wife. She's like, I was about to say that.
Yeah, but at least she's kept her trim figure.
Yes, she has. That right hand will do that. Listen, Steph, right? Bang! My point was before Imbecile interrupted. Yeah, they don't care. Like they blew up ESPN. All right, it's a money losing property, yet they're still going with it. So I take that as it's propaganda. We're not looking to make a profit on this.
Exactly. Well, they're willing. They're going. If we would rather break even and make some money and push this agenda long term than make films that generate.
Well, then they're going to have to change.
Gerald, how do you get to $45 billion in debt?
I think it's worse. I think they think people will actually like the direction that they're going.
Nope,
not anymore.
They're trying to wedge. They're trying to force people. They're trying to engineer people. Comment below what you think. They're trying to engineer people into liking it, even though they know.
True.
Well, can we talk about it, Noodles? I don't know if because Noodles, you were in the machine. You worked for the Beast, right?
I worked for ESPN for just shy of a decade.
Yeah.
So I watched this go from ESPN being sports, being kind of guy centric, something that was what it turned into, and I watched it turn like year after year and get worse and worse. And the Snow White thing has been going on for years.
Yeah,
it's just one piece of it,
and that's a big reason.
But
that you left.
And
then jumped right back into it.
Sorry. Here's what's changed.
Baloo.
The only thing that's changed recently, the whole Trump effect on this country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's going to get even more severe for them, I would think. That would be a true litmus test if they continue to stay the course with Trump in office.
You know what I think it is with President Trump? Think about this. You had George W. Bush, you had Mitt Romney, you had John McCain. I think the real reason that they have the Trump derangement syndrome is because for the first time, there's a president, or even, by the way, a nominee who far more accurately represents the American voter. In other words, George W. Bush, kind of a rhino, when they see Donald Trump, like, oh, wait, these are the people we really have to fight back now because we need to make sure they don't think that it's mainstream. And we can't. The country has platformed Trump, and that means they've platformed you. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. We'll see if they make any corrections to it or not. But I think they thought people would go along with this better. And they wanted, for sure, there's an agenda. We know that. We've heard the executives talk. For sure, they're trying to get people to go that direction. I don't argue that at all. But they also are in the business of making money. They have shareholders to be responsible to. They thought they would make money on this crap.
One thing I was gonna say.
I think you might be right. And that might be the last, but I think this might be it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If it's not, it's solid evidence that they don't care.
Well, the one thing I was going to say is there's actually documented proof of them saying like the fandoms.
That's a tough word to find in your repertoire, isn't it, Noodles?
The franchises that they took over, things like Star Wars, Marvel, things like that. They've said the fandom is the problem.
Yes,
so
exactly.
that's exactly.
Well,
it.
I don't disagree with them on Star Wars. Star Wars fans are sometimes the worst.
Remember the black woman? I think she worked at Disney. She said, we gated up.
Yeah.
She was laughing. We gated up. She was laughing about it.
And they're losing money left and right on it now, but they don't have the support culturally that they had, to Steven's point.
They didn't
shifting.
But they do have a lot of financial backing and influential backing. And here's the thing. They have Hollywood, DC, right media. All of that has been 90%, by all the statistics we have available to us, left. And we're going to get to these podcasts in a second. Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom with a podcast. And it's not going to work anymore. That's why they're trying to shut us out. That's why. Do you know that 98% of our viewership traffic on YouTube is from you bookmarking, checking? We don't show up in search. We don't show up in browse, suggested. We can reach no new people. We can run no ads. It's basically TV guide viewing. They do that and they still lose. Imagine what it would look like if it was a fair playing field. And by the way, the best way to stay in touch, download the Rumble app. Download the app and follow me on Rumble. We send out notifications, meaning the Rumble app, when we're live. That's it. Rumble. We own live. We've got to get back to live. We've got to get back to an actual community where people can sit down and watch and share something together as opposed to 30-second scrolling, because that's what they're banking on. They're banking on you having a shorter attention span and being dumber, because the longer the left talks, the less credible they are. Hey, if you're still watching, you can comment below or click this video playing in a box. Shut up. Shut up. You can tune in live weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, because that's the full show. Which you can say, shut.
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't say anything. I could feel it. Click like.